Hey guys, welcome back to the Naniwa vs IM'NesTea series. I am your host and caster for this series, and my name is Sidewinder. And we will take a look at what's going on in Game 2 after IM'NesTea took a fairly convincing Game 1, even though Naniwa made it a lot closer than a lot of people would have expected out of him. Again, this is a best-of-3 series, so if IM'NesTea wins this game, it'll just be a quick 2-0, and he will have moved on in the Blizzcon tournament, which of course has resumed by now, but there were just a lot of games that weren't shown on stream, and I wanted to get a few of those out, especially from such marquee players like these two guys. Naniwa put a lot of practice into this tournament, so he really wants to have a good showing here. And IM'NesTea is, again, just a god of Starcraft 2 right now. He rarely makes mistakes. His macro is phenomenal. His decision making is unbelievable. But I don't think I ever got a formal introduction on this series, or rather on this game. But Naniwa is a green Protoss spawning in the bottom side of the Shattered Temple, and he's going to be fighting IM'NesTea, who's our Teal Zerg, on the cross spawn. We have a pretty quick forge here out of Naniwa, 11 forge. That's kind of strange. I don't know if he's reacting to what he saw last game out of IM'NesTea, which was that early pool, but IM'NesTea's not doing that this game, so yeah, Naniwa maybe just getting a little bit metagamed based on what he thinks he can expect out of IM'NesTea. And again, IM'NesTea is really smart. He's going to hatch first, which against a early forge could be really risky. And he has no spotting down here. He does have one overlord that can see the front of his base, but it's not like Naniwa has the knowledge that we do. But is he going to see this probe? Yeah, okay, he does see it, just barely. Quite fortunate of him to have seen that probe, but if Naniwa wanted to, he could actually just cannon this base and screw that up because he has no spotting there. He does see that the hatchery is down, and IM'NesTea is now assigned a drone to follow that probe around, which is really smart, so that he'll know if any weird stuff is going on. I guess Naniwa is just going to take a Nexus now on 17, which is more normal timing than at least 11 forge. But here comes the pylon block attempt, and no, IM'NesTea actually blocks it off with his drone. So what he was trying to do is drop 3 pylons here and contain IM'NesTea into his base. And if you do that, you make him work really hard. And look at IM'NesTea's phenomenal planning here. Just going to patrol a drone down at the bottom of the ramp. There's no way this is getting up. Oh, look at that again! Naniwa trying to get really aggressive against this hatch first, and IM'NesTea's just denying him at every turn. Naniwa now has 3 drones chasing his 1 probe, so I guess he does have a small victory in the sense that, oh, here we go. Now he does get the block off. But the spawning pool is now done. There's a spine crawler starting down here at the natural as well. Make that 2. So IM'NesTea should be able to break this, and Naniwa has not taken his expansion behind it. He should throw down his Nexus now, and he does. But yeah, he does just go ahead and cancel those. And look at this. This is such high-level play. As soon as these pylons are canceled out of Naniwa, IM'NesTea just cancels the 2 spine crawlers and says, okay, we'll even trade there. And all of a sudden Naniwa has to go back home, close up his wall, at least get a cannon finished and prevent any Zerglings from getting in. Is that actually tight? I don't know if that's tight enough to prevent Zerglings from getting in, but they're really vague as far as where this ends and where the forge begins, so I don't know. That doesn't look tight to me though, but I guess we'll see. So Naniwa's just a little bit behind now in terms of all the things that went on. He did a good job of keeping 3 drones off the mining for quite a while, but he did lose a few resources and his expansion's really late, so I think Naniwa is actually a little behind right now. IM'NesTea needs to make use of this, and he's not taking any gas. He's just going to pump drones for a long time, knowing that the likelihood of Naniwa being aggressive after something like that is really low. Naniwa is also supply blocked and putting his core in a very strange place. You typically will, I guess he's just doing it to protect that 1 cannon, but you typically will place your cybernetics core on this map in more of a walling fashion. And again, I don't know if that's tight or not, so maybe he just knows something that I don't, which is likely. But this queen looks like he's poking the Zerglings, but they're actually trying to take down these rocks to take a super fast third, which is at least one good thing Naniwa has going for him, that IM'NesTea just can't take that automatic third. He has to break down some rocks either here at the gold or here at the backside, or just take a very risky side expansion. Naniwa just grabbing that 1 zealot. He does have it rallied. It's probably just going to be more so for a scout. I wouldn't expect it to do much. Here's a Stargate coming up for Naniwa. Make that 2 Stargates coming up for Naniwa. This is very strange. At least for Naniwa. Naniwa is typically a very straight-up player, and 2 Stargates is usually considered fairly gimmicky. So we'll see where he decides to go with these 2 Stargates. looking at the timer, I'm always curious when pro players are able to get those down, because it's such a weird timing to take your gas and also take your Nexus and your core and start Warp Gate and all this other stuff. When to take gases here at your natural. So it looks like he got his down, his 2 Stargates down at about 6:45, which is quite early. Behind this, IM'NesTea has a Roach one coming down. We can see it popping up right here. Look at this scout that Naniwa is able to get. He's going to see everything inside of IM'NesTea's base, and I'm actually thinking that's going to dictate what comes off of these 2 Stargates. I'm guessing it's just going to be 2 Void Rays, and probably followed up with some Phoenix here, but this is going to be a rather large commitment to Stargate stuff. This is one situation I haven't seen IM'NesTea in for a long time, is somebody opening with a very aggressive Stargate opener, and IM'NesTea having to react to that. But look at this, he's going to be on 5 Queens here in a second, and 5 Queens will dominate Void Rays, considering Queens don't take gas, and Void Rays take a lot of gas. I'm curious what he actually saw. He did see 1 Stargate. He did not see the second one, so just try not to overreact too much. He does have a few spores coming down. He will have a lot of Queens, so he'll be able to push this off easily. But it just depends on where Naniwa engages. Like, Stargate openers are really weird in the sense that you need to find the right place to use these Void Rays. If you just send them in and they die, it's awful. You're way behind at that point. The other thing is that Stargate openers are kind of risky. Naniwa has actually stopped probes, so I don't know where he wants to go with this. He does have 1 probe still hanging out and kind of hiding, but one thing he could do is try to place a pylon over here since IM'NesTea doesn't have any spotting, and just get some warp-ins with gateways up on the high ground, but he doesn't have a ton of gateways. He does have 2 more coming down, making a total of 3. So here come these, I think it's 4 Void Rays on the field. No, it looks like it's only 3 coming in to attack IM'NesTea. IM'NesTea, look at all these Queens. My god, that is a lot of Queens. There's even 1 in the main, and look at IM'NesTea not revealing these. I don't even think Naniwa has any idea those Queens are there. He's trying to spread his creeps so that he can attack correctly. Look at this awareness out of IM'NesTea. He's so good. The 4th Void Ray comes up, and now Naniwa is kind of committing here because there's so many Queens all over the place. They can heal each other forever. Naniwa needs to be careful and not lose these Void Rays if he can help it. Look at that, 7 Queens out to deflect these Void Rays. Those Void Rays do nothing at all except for put a little damage on an Evolution Chamber. IM'NesTea just crushing that. Here comes the 6 gateways now. This is actually kind of a good follow-up here for Naniwa, though. If he can get 6 gateways worth of reinforcement off, what does IM'NesTea really have to defend this? He has Roaches, he has some Zerglings, he does have a Baning Nest coming down, which, if it's against Stalkers, it shouldn't do too much. So here comes, look at how much gas IM'NesTea has banked, by the way. A lot of Phoenix, a lot of Void Rays here, some free Roaches out in the middle of the map. So we can see Zerglings also rallying there, and Naniwa knows all about this, so this should be some really easy kills in the middle of the map for IM'NesTea, or rather for Naniwa. I don't even know why IM'NesTea is showing these like that. Basically just showing here that here's my whole army. Zealots are now being warped in. More cannons coming down at the front door to prevent a counterattack, which I think IM'NesTea is just trying to buy time because he knows that a straight-up gateway attack will just kill him right now. But he just doesn't have the stuff on the field right now. He's even going Spire against all these Phoenix. I don't know. He does have a lot of Spore Crawlers going up here in his main to keep it protected from all this huge and ever-growing Stargate army. But if you get just warp-ins of Stalkers or even Zealots, you should be able to just mow this down. Queens aren't going to do that much against that. And Naniwa still just being a little bit aggressive. He does get 1 Spore for free. He does take a little bit of hull damage on this. Look at all the lifts on the Queens. Those Queens are going to die easily. 1 Phoenix does go down. A couple of transfuses were going off. But all these Queens are just cannon fodder for these Void Rays once they've been lifted off the ground. Naniwa kind of overcommitting just a little bit. Spore is doing a lot of work behind all these Queens. He does get another transfuse off, but it's just too late. The Queens die too easily. Look at Naniwa's control with these Void Rays. Very impressive. I say he probably just needs to pull back and wait for reinforcements right now. Look at this massive gateway army breaking down the back door of IM'NesTea right now, and if he gets some money force fields off, all those drones will die. So 2-pronged stuff going on right now from Naniwa. I love to see the Stargate attack develop. 11 Corruptors on the way, so yeah, this gateway follow-up is going to be a murder on IM'NesTea's unit composition. Like, I just don't see any way IM'NesTea's going to be able to hold this now. As 2 hatcheries are going down, there's 1 hatchery in the main going down, and his 3rd is going to die very easily. All the stuff popping out of the eggs is going to be all these Corruptors, but guess what? Corruptors don't fight gateway armies very well. So, very nicely organized 2-base all in here from IM'NesTea, or rather from Naniwa. All these Corruptors do pop out, so the Stargate army of Naniwa is going to be dead. but those Corruptors are not going to do anything against the Gateway army that's going to follow this up. So really crafty stuff put together out of Naniwa. You can see IM'NesTea is now supply blocked, 126 to 114. IM'NesTea is still in the supply lead, but a lot of that is in drones, and especially a lot of that is in Corruptors. So these Phoenix are fairly worthless right now. One drone does spawn out of gas, and it gets immediately wasted. Here's all the Corruptors engaging once again, and they will waste those Phoenix, but again, they just don't do anything to the ground army. IM'NesTea has to scramble to get out roaches, but he's on one hatch. That's one hatch worth of production, so at the most he could get 7 roaches out for every larva cycle, and that just doesn't beat what Naniwa is able to put out right now. So Naniwa pressing up here. Look at the whole position on the Zealots. He's so patient. Pressing into the natural here. If he can prevent this from mining, that prevents all reinforcements. So this is it. IM'NesTea really needs to push this off right now. He's pulling everything he possibly can. Zealots start engaging the drones just a little bit, but all this lost mining time is crippling for IM'NesTea as he's at 50 minerals, and he can't keep reinforcing this. +2 attack is now on the way, as +1 didn't finish in the background of all this. Here comes these Phoenix pressing up once again. They're just going to pointlessly die to Corruptors. I don't know how much I like them attacking right here. They should just fly home. But here comes the engagement. Roaches and Stalkers and Zealots being mixed in there, basically just dying for the cause of the Protoss. Huge warp-ins, 7 Stalkers at a time. There's no way IM'NesTea is going to be able to hold this. And he does just say good game and quit out. So Naniwa takes a game off the best Zerg player in the world. It's now a 1-1 series. We'll go into a game 3 to see who advances here at this BlizzCon tournament. And yeah, I mean, really proud of Naniwa with how much he stepped his game up, because IM'NesTea is amazing, and Naniwa is not Korean at all. He's a foreigner, and foreigners being able to take out super top Koreans like this shows the skill gap is closing. So we'll see what the next game holds. I'm really excited for it. Check out game 3 here in just